Welcome to Raheel Stories Hub, where we reveal the untold true stories that shook America. Ethan Miller was the kind of man everyone in Chicago wanted to be like: confident, rich, and charming. He wore designer suits, drove a black BMW, and smiled like a man who had nothing to hide. But behind that smile was a secret that would one day destroy him. Ethan wasn't born rich. He grew up in a small neighborhood, raised by a single mother who worked double shifts at a diner. He always told her, "One day, Mom, I'll give you the life you deserve." And he meant it. But his way of getting there was the wrong one. When Ethan got a job as a financial consultant at a top firm, he was thrilled. But after a few years, ambition turned into greed. He saw how his bosses made millions while he struggled with bills. And then one night, while staring at rows of client accounts, he had a thought that would change everything. What if I just take a little? No one will ever notice. At first, it was small. A few $100s moved from one inactive account to another. Then 1,000. Then 50,000. The money disappeared quietly, buried under fake names and hidden transactions. For 3 years, Ethan lived a double life: the perfect employee by day, a thief by night. He bought a new car, a condo, and told everyone he'd made it. He even donated to charity with stolen money. He thought he was untouchable. But the truth has a way of catching up. One morning, his client, Mrs. Thompson, called the firm in panic. "My retirement money is missing." The firm investigated. Ethan smiled through every question, confident he could cover his tracks. But the audit went deeper. The FBI was called in, and they didn't just find one missing account. They found 27. Ethan's world collapsed in seconds. He was arrested outside his office in front of everyone. The media called him the gentleman thief. But inside prison, there was no charm left in him. His trial began 6 months later. In court, Ethan sat straight, wearing a clean suit, pretending to be calm. The prosecutor called him a master manipulator. His lawyer argued it was just a mistake. But the jury wasn't buying it. Then came the final blow. His assistant, Jenna, walked into court. Ethan looked at her in disbelief. She had worked for him for years, trusted him like a mentor. But now she was holding a folder full of evidence: printed emails, recordings, and transaction trails. The judge played a clip aloud. "They'll never catch me. I'm too smart for this system." The courtroom went silent. Ethan froze. For the first time, the confident man's face turned pale. After 3 long weeks, the verdict came in: guilty on all 14 counts of fraud and embezzlement. The judge looked directly at him and said, "Mr. Miller, you lived your life chasing wealth. Now you'll live it learning the value of honesty." He was sentenced to 25 years in federal prison without parole. Inside those gray walls, the man who once laughed at the law now spent his days cleaning floors and repairing old library books. The guard said he rarely spoke. He'd sit alone writing letters that never got mailed. Years later, a documentary team visited the prison for a story on white-collar crime. They met Ethan. His hair was gray, his hands rough. When they asked if he regretted it, he said quietly, "I don't regret getting caught. I regret the day I decided to lie for the first time. That's the day I truly lost my freedom." He looked out the small window of his cell and added, "Out there I had money. But in here I finally have peace." Ethan Miller, the man who thought he was free, until the truth set him free in a very different way. Ending calm, emotional voice. This was the story of Ethan Miller, a man who lost everything chasing more. If you believe that every lie has its price, then subscribe to Raheel Stories Hub, where every story is real, raw, and unforgettable. Raheel Stories Hub. Real stories, real emotions, real life.